Today we're going to talk about the penny makes no sense. Yes, it's me, Rashid Hill. And today, like I said, I want to talk about the penny makes no sense. This is one of Andrew Yang's proposals and policies that he has listed on his website, yang2020.com. As you know, every week I invite you to come along with me and let's check out Andrew Yang's proposals right there on yang2020.com. If you want to know more about who Andrew Yang is, what he's about, why is he running for president, what can he offer, then please take a look at yang2020.com and you'll see over 100 proposals, very thorough. He has a vision for the future of America, and he is the best candidate that's positioned and suited to beat Trump in this election. So I invite you to take a look, take a listen, make an educated decision. Today we're going to talk about the penny makes no sense. You may say, why is he talking about the penny? Now have no fear. There's a couple of things that I found very interesting when I started to research a little bit more about the penny. And basically, when I'm researching Andrew Yang and I'm listening to his speeches and I'm reading about his policies, I start to go off and do my own research as well. So it's fascinating to me that we have a presidential candidate that I got excited about to a point where I started to do more research in order to be more educated on supporting this particular candidate. I've never done that in the past. So I invite you to be excited with me, and let's get Yang into the Oval Office this coming election. Our country depends on it. What problems are we trying to solve with the penny that makes no sense? Pennies are expensive, environmentally damaging, and cost businesses time. Andrew Yang says it costs more to make a penny than it's worth. That's pretty much all you need to know. Getting rid of them will save us money and time. Good for the environment, too. Nobody likes pennies. They aren't valuable enough to buy anything. They sit at the bottom of your pocket or purse, taking up space until you begrudgingly throw them in a change jar. And whenever you're in a rush, the person ahead of you in the line pulls out some change and starts slowly counting out their pennies right there on the counter. Seriously, though, there are many downsides to the penny. Andrew Yang gives us a few ideas about what the downsides of the penny are. One, they're expensive. It costs more to make a penny than it's worth, costing U.S. taxpayers about $70 million a year. And most of the zinc that goes into making them, it comes from China, adding over $2 million to the trade deficit. Yes, the trade deficit. Not income for the U.S., there's a trade deficit. And if you understand economics and you understand international trade, then you kind of know why the U.S. has so much deficit, has so much debt, and having some challenges with countries like China when it comes to trade. But that's for another day. Mining the zinc and copper needed to make pennies is bad for the environment. Also, counting out pennies at businesses adds up to almost 50 million hours each year. Wow. So businesses that accept cash will save time and effort, and charities that rely on pennies can expect to see donations increase as people start sending nickels along. Makes sense to me. So when they start sending nickels instead of pennies, then one, they're going to make more money and they don't have to count as much. And with all the money saved, we can invest in a way to honor one of our greatest presidents that doesn't involve losing his image in our couches constantly. What president would that be? Of course, that would be President Abraham Lincoln, right there on the penny. So Andrew Yang says there's one thing he'll do when he becomes president for this proposal. As president, Andrew Yang will eliminate the penny. And that's it. He has no more fluff, nothing else to do with it. He will eliminate the penny. Now, based on my research, there were proposals, 2001 and 2006, to eliminate the penny. Um, there's an act that was pushed through the Congress, and it's still waiting to be approved. So Andrew Yang is in position. It's not new. Somebody's tried it before. But based on spending 2 cents to make a 1 cent coin doesn't make much sense. So we'll see if this particular proposal does get passed and we can eliminate the additional cost and the environmental impact and the time it takes to count out coins and pennies across the table throughout the country, throughout the nation. Maybe this will be one of those high impact things that came from a small idea. Honoring our president, Abraham Lincoln, by not getting rid of all the pennies, because there are so many in circulation, and there are pennies that have a high sentimental value, which gives collectors some benefit to keep those pennies in circulation amongst auctions and within their circles, but not being used for currency. So that's my talk for today, and I invite you to join me on my next conversation, my next episode, that I'll be talking about education. There are a number of education proposals that Andrew Yang has on his website, yang2020.com. He talks about making community colleges more affordable. He talks about HBCUs and how they can be supported better. He talks about basically reducing the student debt burden, as well as paying college players for their images and for their likeness and using their name or their college and their uniforms in commercial activities and commercial enterprise. So I thought that was pretty cool, because we definitely need to honor anybody that is being utilized for profit without their knowledge or their consent. So yeah, Andrew Yang is doing amazing things, and I want to make sure that the public knows so they can make an educated choice when it comes to who they want to run this country and bring the integrity and values back to our leadership. The United States 1 cent coin, the penny, is a unit of currency equaling 1/100th of a United States dollar. It has been the lowest value unit of the U.S. currency since the abolition of the half cent in 1857. Did you know that there was a half cent that the U.S. actually produced? I didn't either. The first U.S. cent, 1 cent, was produced in 1787, and the cent has been issued primarily as a copper or copper-plated coin throughout history. Its obverse, yes, a new word for me, has featured the profile of President Abraham Lincoln. So obverse must be the front since 1909, the centennial of his birth. From 1959 to 2008, the reverse, obviously the backside, featured the Lincoln Memorial. 4 different reverse designs in 2009 honored Lincoln's 200th birthday, and a new permanent reverse, the Union Shield, which I'll show you in a minute, was introduced in 2010. Its weight has varied and depending upon the composition of metals used in its production. So this is the back or the reverse of the penny. Now I understand why it says obverse and reverse, because who knew what the front or back was? When you just have a blank piece of metal, you don't know what's front and back because they're both the same. So one is obverse and one is reverse. So very interesting use of words there, but that's probably Old English, which still obviously to this day is an actual word. The U.S. Mint's official name for the coin is cent, and the U.S. Treasury's official name is 1 cent piece. I don't know, don't ask, don't even think about it too much. A cent is a cent, a penny is a penny. But in British English, it's called pence. So obviously when the British and some of the Australian and some of the Europeans decided to come to the new land or to Newfoundland or the New England. Instead of using pence, they wanted to change it and use the term penny. And thus, that's the essence of this particular slide. But in the early 2010, the price of metal used to make pennies rose to a noticeable cost to mint, which peaked at more than 2 cents for a 1 cent face value coin. Now, think about that for a second. The price to make the particular coin doubled. Yes. So anything that doubles that you have to produce is out of variance. It is way beyond what you want to do when you're producing something like money as a transfer of value. Your value has been cut in half. Are you really capturing this? Why should we produce an item or a transfer of value when the value has been cut in half and it's less than 1 cent? So you're producing a coin for double its value. Therefore, when you transfer it or make a purchase or try to make a purchase, it's less than what it's actually worth. Mind-boggling. But that's economics. Therefore, Andrew Yang proposes to get rid of the 1 cent coin called the penny. Makes sense to me. But there are currently no firm plans by the government to eliminate the penny, as the arguments for and against the coin continue to be debated. Well, there's no debate because Andrew Yang wants to get rid of it. But just because, little history about collectors of these particular pennies, because there are pennies and other coins produced, and when errors are made in the minting process, guess what? They become rare and valuable. Through mint errors, a number of rare and valuable Lincoln cents have been produced. Some random errors, such as an off-center strike, slightly increase the value of the coin and are sought after by niche collectors. However, some errors were systematic and produced a number of coins with exactly the same problem in the same year. These have been recognized varieties that are often extremely valuable and sought after by mainstream collectors. There have been pennies that have sold for over $120,000 in auctions. And on the next slide, you'll see that there has been a coin that has been traded or sold for over $1 million. Yes, a penny. The first double die era occurred during the production of the 1909 DVD. Not identified until the 1970s, it shows the RTY in Liberty. This is on the coin, and the 190 of the date slightly doubled. This coin is extremely rare and valuable. Now, hear this. Let me just give you some insight here. The reverse, or the backside that we call it, the backside, of some Lincoln cents minted in 1992 at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Some of these were minted in 1998 and 1999 at the San Francisco Mint, feature a smaller than normal gap between the first two letters of America, between the A and the M. These coins were known as the close A&M variety, are valued at $20,000 and $5,000 for the 1992 specimens in gem uncirculated condition. Yes, that's $20,000 for a coin. Yes, there's a $5,000 value on a penny. Wow. And for some of the gem-proof condition specimens that were minted in San Francisco, they were going for $3,000 and $1,000 respectively. A penny. Man, that's awesome for collectors. Now, let's take that to a whole nother level. This 1943 penny, Liberty penny. This is how valuable President Lincoln was. The 1943 copper alloy cent is one of the most enigmatic coins in American numismatics. and reportedly the most valuable Lincoln penny of all. Just 40 of the coins probably created by accident on copper alloy, 1-cent blanks, left in the presses in the wartime years when pennies were converted to steel, are known to exist. The first 1943 copper cent was sold in 1958 for more than $40,000. In 1996, if you didn't think that was enough, another one went for a whopping $82,500. This is a penny, but those sales pale in comparison with the latest. A dealer in New Jersey sold his 1943 penny for a staggering $1.7 million. Yes, a penny that was probably created at a value of 2 cents sold for $1.7 million. Their collection value makes 1943 copper pennies a prime target for counterfeiters. Fakes are often made by coating steel cents with copper or altering the dates of 1945, 1948, and 1949 cents. How can you tell if a 1943 copper penny is real? Use a magnet. If the penny sticks, it's not copper. From now. So this is Andrew Yang's vision. This is understood by Andrew Yang based upon his research. The data describes and sustains what he talks about very clearly. If you haven't had a chance, do get a copy of his book. Oh man, hold on. I don't want to say it wrong. Give me a second. Don't go anywhere. The War on Normal People. So you want to make sure you get a copy of that. The War on Normal People by Andrew Yang. And it does detail a lot about the occupations of the future. And he has stories in there about himself when he was younger and when he didn't go to the dentist, but the dentist came to him, quote unquote, with the foot on his neck. But anyway, it's been exciting, and it will get more exciting. And I do look forward to spending some more time with you on the next video when we talk about education. Very exciting. Go to yang2020.com for more information about Andrew Yang's proposals for policies when he becomes the next U.S. president. Thank you, and have an amazing day.